Hello, fellow Rebel Capitals. Hope you're well. Today, we're going to tell you how to get more customers fast, very, very quickly, using YouTube and content creation more in general. So, let's start off by doing a screen share. And I want to take you guys to a funnel that I'm building for myself right now and Rebel Capitalist Pro. And then, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to a funnel. And what this just means is a way of generating leads and turning those leads into sales through videos. We're going to do, we're going to go over to one of these sales funnels that Josh created for a client. And we're going to walk you through how he did that from start to finish and how this funnel that Josh created actually worked extremely well in generating leads that turned into customers very, very quickly for this individual he was working with. So, first and foremost, let's take you behind the scenes, guys. Let's pull back the kimono and we're going to look at my go high level. So this is for Rebel Capitals. Okay, so the first thing, guys, is we're going to assume that you've watched some of our previous videos, you have a YouTube channel, you've created a video, or if you haven't created a YouTube channel, if you haven't started making videos, that you've watched some of our past videos and you're saying, okay, I kind of get it. So if I start making videos, what happens next? So then what you would want to do is you would want to create some sort of digital product that you could offer is what we call a lead magnet. Now, this is going to be for free, and this shows you some of the more recent lead magnets that I've done. And the first one is this dollar playbook. So, what I did is, and videos are easiest for me. So, these are mostly just videos. And if writing is easier for you, maybe you can do a report. Maybe you can do a free top 10 list, a free tutorial. There's limitless ideas. And it doesn't have to be a lot. This doesn't have to be some sort of 1,000 page novel or anything. It could just be a one-page sheet that the people that watched that video on that topic would find value in. So this is an example, was a dollar playbook. It was a video, maybe 10, 15 minutes. I'm sure I did it without editing. I just went in there and riffed on what I saw happening with the dollar and how I was playing it. And this was just in my own personal portfolio, the portfolio I had in Rebel Capitalist Live, or excuse me, Rebel Capitalist Pro. So I talked about it on a couple videos and I just said, hey, if you're interested, if you want this for free, go ahead and go to this URL. And that's just where they go to a web page and then it just says submit your email, your name, click now, and then you go over to your email and then that delivers the e-product. I'm sure you guys know what I'm referring to. And if you haven't set one of these up, one of these web pages, it's actually very, very easy, especially if you get someone like Josh. He could probably do this for you, or one of his team members could do this for you in a half hour. So if you don't know how to set up a landing page for a lead magnet, don't worry about it. Just assume that's very, very easy to do. Okay. So I talked about it a couple times on a few videos, and you can see we've generated 3,000 emails from the few times that I mentioned it. And more recently, I talked about this Rebel Capitalist report that I started, and this is just a weekly summary of what we're talking about in Rebel Capitalist Pro, because the whole idea here is to try to drive traffic to my Rebel Capitalist Pro membership site. And I talked about this just maybe a couple times, and we've got 1,500 leads over here, 1,500 emails, and I've separated. So when these emails go into a list, they're separated by tags. So all the emails are in one list, but you can subdivide this list based on the specific lead magnet. And that's helpful because you can see which one is doing the best in terms of actual sales. So then what happens is once they go onto your email list, you start emailing them once a week, or in this case, it's just this one-time offer. But with this Rebel Capitalist report, I'm emailing everybody that's on the list. And at the end of that email, you just have a subtle pitch to say, hey, you can check out my product, whatever it is. In this case, it's Rebel Capitalist Pro, and it just gives a link to our school page, and that's where the community is. So just imagine that you get an email, and at the bottom, you're like, hey, I like what George is saying here. I like these updates and I would like the whole product. It's $97 a month. It makes sense. So from that email, there's a link. You click on it and it goes right over to our school page and it goes to the actual about page. So this is kind of like your landing page on school. And if you've never dealt with school, this is kind of the platform where we have the Rebel Capitals Pro community. So you've got the general discussion. This is the members just kind of chatting back and forth, and I chime in there whenever it's appropriate. We've got upcoming live streams, we've got research, and we've got portfolios. And then the best thing here is you got this calendar that tells you when all the live streams are going to be. So this is the product. Okay. Now what we've done is we've taken them from the video. We've gone to the lead magnet, or actually to the landing page for the lead magnet. Then they've received the lead magnet. We've got them on the email list, and then we email them value. You got to email them value. It's not just pitch, 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 pitch. You email them value every single week, and then at the end of that valuable email or video in my case, then you just do a subtle, hey, if you'd like to learn more, check out our landing page or check out our community on School Rebel Capitalist Pro. Now, there's another way to do it, and this is something that we're toying around with now. This is a landing page, a sales page that's not on the school platform. And you could tell you're able to customize it a lot more. And so you're able to add some of this copy that really gets people's attention, the fastest way to protect and grow your wealth before the crash. And then we have a VSL. This is a video sales letter in here. And this is just a rough draft. We're still working on this. And of course, you can add testimonials here. And we've got endorsements from good friends of mine, Rick Rule, Kiyosaki, Kenny. And then you just keep scrolling down. And each time that you would click this, it would take you to a page to go ahead and sign up, to give your credit card information and become a part of the community. And then you would get an email for the actual school platform. So, Josh, does this make sense?
Yeah, so we're talking about how to get customers from YouTube as fast as possible. And
Yeah.
the way you do that is through these types of funnels, because people hardly ever trust someone enough from watching a singular video to then paying someone for something. So all this back end stuff is what increases your conversions over time from the views that you're getting online to actually turning them into customers for your product or service.
And if you had to define an online sales funnel, how would you define it?
It's taking someone that doesn't know what product or service you have, or maybe knows a little bit about it, and getting them to pay for whatever it is that you're doing.
And how
And
do you do that?
through a variety of continuously showing more and more benefits that the viewer is going to get and providing more value to
Okay,
them.
so what I'm talking about is a sales funnel is a sequence of web pages. And the objective of these web pages, first and foremost, is to get them on an email list where you're sending them emails. And then the objective from the emails is to get them onto a different web page or a different landing page. And then the objective of the landing page is to get them over to the credit card form, which is a different web page where they actually buy. And then you send them a link to the other web page, which is the school platform. And that's where the Rebel Capitalist Pro community is. So that's an example of my funnel and kind of in the definition of what. So when you hear the words sales funnel or that phrase, you know what we're referring to. But that's just an example of mine. There's an example of others where the objective is to get someone to call your business. So call to action. So what you would do is you would create a video that incentivized people or tried to entice people to go ahead and set up an appointment to go ahead and do a Zoom call or maybe a direct call, a WhatsApp DM. There's a lot of ways that you can do this. There's tons of ways that you can
There's
get
actually
creative.
infinite ways you can do a funnel. And
Yeah.
I, on any given day, probably use 12 different key funnels for every different platform that we're doing. But the only goal is to take someone from where they are into your paid product or service. And sometimes you need more or less steps to do that. But you're doing this because it actually works and it gets you more customers when it's done really, really well. Or no one would do it. We would just post a link and everyone would buy from you.
Yeah, and the method or the strategy used is there's a lot of variables that go into the decision-making process. One of the main ones is your price point. So if you have a $97 a month program, like I do with Rebel Capitals Pro, you can go ahead and sell that just with some web pages and then taking them to a checkout page where they give their credit card and just go back and forth with some emails. But if you had like a $25,000 program or a good or service that was $25,000 or $50,000 as an example, you would really want to get those people to call you because that's most likely you're not going to close that just with some web pages. It's going to take a human being talking to that person that's interested and actually closing that deal. And it might even take multiple phone calls. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So now, Josh, let's go over to another example of a different funnel or different type of funnel that you set up for one of your friends that had a very, very, very niche business.
Yeah, this is going to be a YouTube funnel where we're keeping everybody on YouTube for as long as possible because that's the title of this video, how to get customers fast from YouTube. And this is one of the quickest ways to do it that you can replicate for any business model. This guy has the most niche business you can possibly have with only 5,000 people in the entire world that could buy from him. So when you start your YouTube funnel, you want, and especially if your goal is to use your business to get leads from YouTube, you want to be as hyper specific as possible. You only want one type of viewer with one clear promise that you're solving to that viewer, the same way that you would do that with a targeted paid ad or something that you were putting in your local newsletter. So this person, this is an example of a agency that is a hearing clinic. So this person would sell to hearing clinics across the US and across Europe for as showing them why they should use social media to get more hearing clinic customers. So this is a video VSL that we made for him that was titled how this hearing clinic added $132,000 in monthly revenue using just one video funnel, no ads. Because
Okay, so let
most
me stop you right there because you guys, we showed you what a VSL is, and the VSL example we gave was the one on this new landing page that I'm doing for Rebel Capitals Pro. Josh, go ahead and switch it up so they
Yep.
can see this. So this is the VSL that's on this sales page. But this is not what Josh is talking about. Josh is talking about a VSL just like this, but instead of it being on the sales page, he actually put it on this person's YouTube channel or used it as a video that they uploaded to YouTube and made it live and it went out there. So it was a video that was live on YouTube on his channel that was providing value, but one of the purposes of this video was a VSL, or so it was essentially a VSL that they basically uploaded directly to YouTube. Just giving you example of another way to skin the cat, so to speak.
Yeah. So first off was how do you structure this kind of video that has the maximum intent for one, getting as many views on YouTube as possible, but also converting as many of those views into customers. So it's the hook was just showing the pain point that these hearing clinics have been doing wrong. You're doing XYZ wrong and it's not working. And then you explain the problem as to why they're doing it wrong. If you can show someone why what they're doing is wrong better than they can explain it, then you can show them a step-by-step breakdown of how you can solve that for them. They are going to believe at a very high degree that you are actually going to be able to do that. And then showing that you've done that successfully over time and over time. That is the goal of a very high converting VSL or video sales letter. And then at the end, you are just tempting or trying to convert all of these viewers that are hearing clinics. And so you're going to be hyper specific. If you're a hearing clinic that wants to get started on social media and get more lead gen, you can book a call with me here. So that was the entirety of the video.
Yeah, so this is basically the structure of the video. But the whole point here is this was a different approach. This was a VSL directly uploaded to this individual's YouTube page. And at the end, the call to action was to actually book a call because his price point is pretty high. So what they would do is he would give a link to basically this app that, or this website where you can choose what date works for you, and that syncs with his calendar. And then based on your availability, then you go ahead and set a time, And then what happens, I'm sure he emails you a few times a reminder, just confirmation that we're going to be talking tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, whatever it is. And then he would go ahead and get on the phone or get on that Zoom call, and he would go ahead and answer their questions and then hopefully close them on buying his product or service.
Yeah. So this is the first step of the VSL. But what turns this into a funnel is all of the other videos that we use to promote this. So we have why most hearing clinics are failing to reach new patients. And then the call to action on this video is not to book a call, but it is to this video, because the goal is to get this video as many views as humanly possible. And then we have all of these other videos that are all trying to attract hearing clinics where we are trying to solve more and more problems that they would have, all going right back to this central VSL. This
Right.
does a few things. One is it rewards YouTube's algorithm, because YouTube rewards you the longer you can keep people on the platform. If someone watches one of your videos all the way to the end and then they watch the next video, YouTube is going to say, wow, someone is not just coming to this person's channel, they're binging it. I should reward them by showing this to more and more people in the space. So that makes it to where all of his videos start to get more views, but this central video gets double or triple the amount of views that it would if it was just on some website landing page, because you're structuring all other videos to that video. And that makes it to where it's getting more and more views, which also gets more of your potential customers watching it.
Let me go ahead and do a screen share.
Yep.
Okay, so just for the viewer, let's assume for a moment this new housing market data is getting scary. So you guys can see this video I did back July 21st. Let's assume this was a VSL. So Josh went through the structure of that VSL and helping his client or his friend build that in a way that's going to be effective. And then what he's saying is these next, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4 videos were on slightly different topics, but with the same subject matter, right? But instead of this call to action for this VSL video going directly to book a call on the person's website where you've got the calendar, these were just pointing back to new housing market data. So, what I talked about on this video, it's delivering value, it's going over something that would be relevant to my perfect customer, my customer avatar, if you want to look at it that way. And then at the end of the video, I'm saying I'm driving that, I'm giving them a reason why they need to watch this video, that VSL. I'm doing the same thing here. I'm doing the same thing here. I'm doing the same thing here. So these are all videos that you're putting and you're uploading to your YouTube channel that are very purposeful and they have an intent. And that intent number one is the VSL. Then the intent number two is just to drive as much traffic as you possibly can, leveraging the YouTube algorithm to this VSL, which then hopefully gets more clicks, books more phone calls, generates more leads, and ends up with more sales.
And it works incredibly well. This is just one simple thing that you could replicate on YouTube. Every single social media has different funnels that work really well. But on YouTube, if you guys were just hyper specific and focused with a strategy, which is the main point of this channel, is how to come up with strategies that you can replicate to continuously get more lead gen for your business. If you could do this for your product, and then you could have 10 videos that all promote it to that video, and then you could remake that exact same structure. You make a new version of a VSL that are hitting the pain point slightly different. And then every other video you make points to that. And you could continuously use this structure for your entirety of your channel and quite literally make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month if you perfected this one model.
Assuming you've got the right business and the right price point and everything else. But we're assuming that you guys have the business and you know your business well, whether it's a small business, mid-sized business, or large business. I'm sure you've got that on lockdown. You guys
Yes,
get it.
so that's where your price point matters a lot,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
type of funnel that you make. The reason why we do this type of funnel is because he has a $5,000 plus monthly fee, plus a performance-based model, which that is forever. He wants to keep these clients forever. If for George's product, what in my opinion would work best is a webinar funnel, where every single video that you make, you take someone to a webinar, which is a live video that you would do for a few thousand people. And at
Right.
the end of the webinar, you give a big pitch to try and convert them into your subscription model.
All right. So, guys, that's just a couple ways that you can generate leads, generate sales very, very quickly from YouTube videos. And on that bombshell, thanks for watching. Make sure you're standing up for freedom, liberty, and free market capitalism. We'll see you in the next video.